Kagami-san, I marvel at your magic way with the flowers. If only I could learn your secret.
No secret. You plant them, they grow. Of course, you must water them.
Oh.
Trade Minister, Chief Inspector Kido's here.
Chief Inspector Kido, have you been offered some tea?
I've learned you have in your employment Juliana Crane.
Yes, that's correct.
She is the sister to a known subversive.
Thank you for the information. I will take it seriously.
There is no doubt about it. I tell you to assist you, to save you from embarrassment.
Thank you, Chief Inspector.
The responsibility for the girl and all her actions lies with you.
Miss Crane.
Trade Minister. I apologize. I've caused you embarrassment. I should have told you that the Kemputai had questioned me, and I will resign. Or you will dismiss me.
No. In life, there are too many questions with the lack of time to answer them. You may not understand this. I live by a 5,000-year-old book. I ask it questions as if it were alive. It is alive. It tells me you have a purpose. It says, superior person in an inferior position. Accepting a task graciously brings good fortune to all. We must all have faith in something, Miss Crane. We cannot see ahead alone.
John Lilly once put it this way: there are no limits at all to the human mind whatsoever, except those we impose on ourselves because of our beliefs. And those limits are also beliefs to be transcended. And that's a view that suggests that the possibilities of human transformation are virtually infinite. And we have no way of knowing the outer horizon of what it means to be human.
And really, to understand all this, everything, you have to go very, very deep into a study of history, consciousness, neurophysiology, everything. You have to be the supreme eclectic type of leaning, and you really have to be wanting to know who you are and what everything's about.
And the thing that you'll find when you go to sacred sites, if you're very humble about it, is that you are on a personal journey, and the sacred site will respond to you in a way that is appropriate only to you. The information is always what you are searching for. And it's the intent you give that energy that defines whether it is used for right action or not. And it is inside these sacred spaces that you will be reminded that you are a god, that you are a bright star.
So what you're trying to do is move through the course without ricocheting off walls or creating karma. You're trying to slide through things smoothly. How do you do that? It's called flowing. There's a technique that you can do that will allow you to touch some part of your inner being that has more knowledge than your conscious state does.
13 years, the NBA champion has had a winning road record. This season, the Bulls have the best road record in basketball with 31 victories away from home. In the center circle, Cycli taps it to Rice. And with a deft, Brian Shaw comes top of the circle, feeds it to Grant Long, right wing. To the cutting Rice, makes the catch on the baseline, shoots it from 10 to hit. And that is just what this Miami is. The Cartwright screen comes to the left wing, left of the circle. Now down the lane, throws up a hook. On the rim, drops in. We're tied at 2.
The Heat really must
in to tie it up. And now the Bulls showing full court pressure. Grant Long moves it ahead, shoots from 21 and hits. Behind the Cartwright screen comes right wing. Down to the foul line for the pass inside, knocked away by Long, stolen by Shaw. Shaw across, feeds Long, makes the catch and gets it home. Rebound Michael Jordan. This place could have exploded if the Rice 3 fell. Jordan across, hands to Grant, he lays it in. Horace Grant from Michael Jordan. 6 to shoot, Smith still on the three-point arc.
He's letting too much time go down off the clock.
A 3 for Smith and he hits it. Well, it wasn't the first. Jordan changes direction, comes foul line. Bounces to Paxson. Inside it goes Grant. Shot blocked by Cycli, out of bounds.
Oh, great help by Ronnie.
With 4 each, and Brian Shaw off well, 3 assists and a couple of rebounds. No change, Chicago ball. Pippen to the foul line, shoots from 14, got it. Scottie Pippen is out. Rebound, Cycli. Outlet for Brian Shaw. Down the sideline, into the front court, stops, pops from 20, got it.
The Heat are getting
into the forecourt, back Paxson down, left of the lane, out to Cycli, back to Smith, shoots the post up, good, and a foul!
And Steve,
12 to shoot, puts it on the floor, into the lane, here's the jumper, way off, air ball, rebound to Pippen, squeezes one up and hits. And again, offensive rebounding at Miami Arena, where it is nuts. Here's Rice, aiming a 3, it's on the way, it's good! First quarter. Scottie Pippen right side, feeds it to Paxson, top of the circle, hands it back to Pippen, turns the corner, down the lane to the scoop, blocked by Cycli, taken by Rice, sets up three-point arc. In the Jordan posting up, he's double teamed out to Armstrong. Left wing Pippen, crossover dribble down the lane, all the way for the slam dunk. Scottie Pippen has been terrific. Armstrong, right side Jordan. Jordan guarded by Shaw. Jordan fakes the jumper, now fires from 20, good. Michael Jordan gets his first basket with a minute. Wing himself, looking down low for Cycli, makes the catch against Scott Williams, backs him down, in the lane, turns baseline, lays it in, and a foul. It's picked off by Armstrong.
It was our first playoffs of team history. It just happened to be against the Chicago Bulls and Jordan. And I tell this story all the time because it's amazing. We went up to Chicago the first 2 games, and this was best of 5 series instead of 7, best of 5. And we went up to Chicago and lost the first 2 games up there, and was, you know, basically we knew that we weren't gonna last very long. But we come back home to play in Miami. The arena was rocking. They had these clackers that, you know, the atmosphere was totally different than anything that we had ever, seen in that arena. We were excited. The city was excited. The organization was excited. But we're playing the Bulls, and we come out in the first quarter and we're kicking their butts. And again, we were young. We were all like below 25 years old. First quarter, the fans are going crazy. We're excited. We're going crazy as players. We're up big time, and we go over to Jordan at the beginning of the second quarter. He's taking the ball out, and we was like, "We're gonna kick your butt. We're gonna kick your butt today. It's over." He had his hands down on his knees. He looked up at us, and there was 5 of us, like me, Glenn Rice, Brian Shaw, Keith Askins, Ronnie Cycli, I think Steve Smith we walked over and we were like, you know, we're talking junk, and he looks up and he says, "Young fellas, I played 36 holes of golf today, and I was just gonna chill, but now I'm gonna kick your ass." And I think, and you might have to go back and check on us, but I think he didn't score in the first quarter, and I think he scored 56 points from that second quarter on to kick our butts. And you know, and that knocked us out of the playoffs too. But we went in the locker room, and Kevin Lockery was our head coach, and he said to us, and we were all really young, and he, you know, what he said was, you know, when a sleeping bear is asleep, just let him sleep. You know, don't pick and prod at a sleeping bear, just let him sleep. And from then on, I knew not to say anything to Michael Jordan. So, or, you know, as far as talking trash, because he was just that good.
Checked in for the Bulls. If you think that this Miami Heat team was...
Miami. Pippen, Purdue, Scott Williams, Jordan, and Armstrong for Chicago. Pippen with 11, shoots top of the circle and hits.
We got the mismatch.
A playoff record. Here's Shaw in a cycle, spins in the lane, now goes up with a hook, blocked out of bounds from behind by Jordan. That's the one thing. If you take too much time down for Jordan, still with just 2 points. Jordan head of the circle. Back he comes the other way for a floating 15-footer. He hits. Michael Jordan's second basket on ISO, one-on-one with Shaw. Purdue sets the screen. Jordan goes behind it, fires from 20, and drains it. 2 in a row for Michael Jordan with a Heat up by 11. Coles uses the cycling screen, moves to the lane. Nice pass for cycling. He ran for through. With 8.5 minutes left in the second quarter. 3-point line. Guarded by Livingston. By him down the lane. Shot blocked by Jordan. Taken by Armstrong. Racing with Jordan. Racing ahead. Lays it up. Good. And a foul. B.J. Armstrong able to shot side to Edwards. Guarded by Jordan. Puts it on the floor. Stripped by Jordan. Loose ball to Grant. Ahead for Michael. Into the front court. Behind his back comes left wing. Now down the lane. All the way for the two-hand slam. And the foul on Alanog. That is vintage Jordan.
This spins behind his back. Up. And a little hang time for the...
On 4 for 9. So the Heat guard tandem has played well. Play back in. Jordan in the lane. Scoops it up and in. Michael Jordan, 16 points. And back to Pippen on the cut. Spins baseline. Can't fire it up. Out it goes to Jordan. Jordan starts the drive to the lane for a 10-footer. Good. Michael Jordan silences the crowd. 3. Bulls move to the Miami end. Here in the third quarter. Paxson right corner. Bottled up by Smith. Bounces right of the lane for Jordan. Shoots the fadeaway and hits. 21 now from tonight. You got it right. Here's Jordan, head of the circle, unloads the jumper, bullseye. Michael Jordan, 2 in a row here in the third quarter. He's got 20. Get that one to drop. And Pippen advances for Chicago. Scottie Pippen to the right wing with the Bulls down 1. Alley-oop for Jordan, makes the catch, lays it in. Michael Jordan has all 6. Shakes over his head, puts it on the floor around the Jordan screen. Back to Michael, 3-point arc. Against Long, starts the drive, spins down the middle, hangs in the air, and floats it in. Another spectacular shot. Nate Rutin comes up with it and circles out with the Bulls up 2. Into the front court, Jordan. Jordan fakes, now fires from 18 and hits. He is unstoppable. Michael Livingston, Pippen, Scott Williams, and Michael Jordan for the Bulls, and Jordan has 38. Here's Edwards, a right corner jumper is good. Left wing, eyes Kevin Edwards. Comes to the left wing, to the foul line, turns the corner, down the lane, hangs in the air, feeds it out to Pippen. The corner jumper, good. Just when you think you have him stopped. To the left, rebound Cartwright, and he feeds Jordan. Jordan on the jog, moves it in front, changes direction, down the lane for the one-hand slam dunk.
Your best player, and Michael Jordan is as good as there is as he weaves through the entire Heat.
If the Bulls win, they advance. If the Heat win, we get game 4 Friday night. Cartwright for Jordan. In the lane, here's the fadeaway. Got it. Michael Jordan, Bo Coles on the walk. He prowls around out top. His bouncer for Long, knocked away by Jordan, stolen by Armstrong. 4-on-1. Pippen down the lane, all the way, lays it in. Well, Miami is down 102-97. Down the other way, Jordan to the foul line, rises, shoots, connects. Michael Jordan throwing. Jordan circles left wing. Jordan by Shaw, down the lane, bumps it along, puts up the shot. No foul, but the shot went in. Looks at the basket, holds, puts it on the floor. Out to Armstrong, right wing, Jordan with 6 on the shot clock. He fires and hits. An arena record, 52 points. 115, 111. Down ahead of the field, Jordan makes the catch, gets ahead of Cycli and dunks. 54 now for Jordan to Long. Long looking for Rice coming around the screen, back to Shaw, a long 3. Got it! He hit it with 11 seconds left. Pressure. Ryan Shaw with 17 points. In it comes to Jordan with 10. Jordan down the sideline gets fouled with 9.5 seconds left. Is have 54 points, and he's hit 14 of 16 at the line. And he hits the first free throw. 118, 114. Jordan hits the second. It's 119 to 114. Long with a Heat down by 5 to inbound from half court. Lobs it in for Smith. Knocked away by Jordan. Goes out of bounds. Miami will keep it with 8.6. Shaw underneath the basket. Looks. Still looking. Finds Long. Comes to the corner. Throws up a forced line drive three. Off the back iron. Rebounded by Armstrong. The final seconds of the season wind down and out. The Chicago Bulls advance in the playoffs for the Miami Heat.
Worth the risk? What would you do?
All right, I must admit, I can't explain any of these thoughts racing through my brain.
Vern's cash, combined with an unprecedented surge of motivation, enabled me to finish the book in 4 days. A tablet a day, and what I could do with my day was limitless. I learned to play the piano in 3 days. Math became useful and fun.
I'm all in.
Even half listening to any language, I became fluent.
Donc vous me dites que tout auteur qui mérite statut adjectif comme orwellien, dickensian, so that Shakespeare's pettiness belies mediocrity.
There's no arguing with you.
This was great. So, Mom, I've been doing a little research on Aunt Helen's tumor, and it's totally clear that anybody with familial abdominis polyposis should be supplementing platinum-based doublet regimens with Icos and pentoic acid. I suddenly knew everything. About everything. Sure, you get a short-term spike, but wouldn't that rapid expansion devalue the stock completely in 2 years?
No, because there are safeguards.
Against aggressive overexpansion? There aren't, because there are no safeguards in human nature. And we're wired to overreach. Look at history, all the countries that ever ruled the world. Portugal with its big, massive navy. All they got now are salt cod and cheap condoms. The Brits, now they're just sitting on their dank little island fussing over their suits. No one's stopping and thinking, hey, we're doing pretty well. We got France, we got Poland, we got a big Swiss bank account. You know what? Let's not invade Russia in the winter. Let's go home, let's pop a beer, and let's live off the interest. Yeah. My brain was just pouring this stuff out. Everything I'd ever read, heard, seen was now organized and available. Here it is. Here you go.
Eddie, hey. Listen, I'm sure you have a portfolio, but if you don't, I'd be very interested in working with you.
Okay, Kevin. All my fear, all my shyness, gone.
They've done 4 basic trials in phase 3.
But mere lounging wasn't enough. If I wasn't moving forward, I felt like I was going to explode. Anybody ever jump?
Are you crazy?
He's gonna do it.
He's not gonna do it.
And then I began to form an idea. Suddenly, I knew exactly what I needed to do. It wasn't writing. It wasn't books. It was much bigger than that.
Hey, you epic being, welcome. Thank you as always for allowing me, Andre Hodge, servant of truth, infinite potential healing, to be a part of your journey. I hope this finds you well and possibly in a very reflective, progress sort of appreciation of everything and integrating so much, observing and appreciating what's going on, and ideally owning in you your power of how epic you are for having the courage to explore and integrate and contemplate these sort of things that I offer, but also discern them and then come to the other side, and just it being all a massive translator of everything going on scales that the vast majority of people won't even consider as possible, let alone if they are open to it, whether they can get through their own vested interest, dogma, all those sort of things, right? So I really want to thank you for being here, seriously. And I'm going to do a bit of an interesting video. I'm in an interesting space and reflective and contemplative and feeling extremely empowered and feeling like being proactive and stuff. So I want to just inspire and fire you up a bit. I'm not sure when I'm going to release this. Might be depending which time of year, depending which region of the world you are and stuff like that. I'm a bit of ahead of everyone else, and we go through time a bit earlier than the rest of the world, particularly you guys in the US. So I might be releasing this in the early hours of New Year in Australia, or in the New Year, first day of New Year. And it might be just on the New Year's Eve of where you are in the rest of the world, and ideally you catch it on the other side, maybe you see it before and stuff like that, and enjoy the New Year's Eve sort of thing. And wherever and whenever you see this, I hope it's just very bit different for me. Like I don't know, the way you take stuff, I just feel very, it's like I've worked this shit out, like this is fucking crap that's going on, right? And it's just fascinating, the reactions and just the attitudes and all that sort of stuff that might go on, and the technicals of the difference between the 3D, the multi-D, and the energy sort of levels and stuff. And ideally the bigger thing is just getting the context, like what is the foundation of what's going on, to help navigate through it and stuff like that. It might not be pretty, it might be quite daunting, it might be very intimidating and freaking scary, and it's, can we just freaking enjoy Earth, you know what I mean? And but I'm just going to be me and push hard and offer the information. And ideally I won't break my YouTube channel and stuff, but I'm thinking of a few videos I might actually just do on BitChute that might be the place to do it. So I've got a BitChute channel and stuff like that. I've got Rumble and all that, but I do it all manually, and I haven't done stuff there for a while and that. But I think it's time we get really fired up and inspired. And me being a awareness conscious healing leader and all that sort of stuff, it's ideal that I do it with what has transpired in the recent weeks, and just me personally reflecting, particularly doing it around this time of year. I remember I released a video December 31st, 2001, so it's 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago now, going into 2002, and it was all about the appreciation of discovering Ashiana Dean and the Ayani massacre and all that, and it totally flipped all the Akasha bullshit, like, to me. And I offered Influences Part 8, explaining the Akashic Records from my perspective, because I've been in the trenches so much and stuff with it, and just the massive personal impact it had, discovering, like, really integrating the Asha early stuff and ever since. So it was like a massive release for me, Amplify the Echoes Through Our Soul's Ancient Truth Part 1. And I was like, this is going to cause me trouble. I was talking about the relationships and stuff, how what's gone on and transpired and stuff like that, and it did cause me a lot of trouble. And it was on straight after that, and It was a pretty tough couple of years after that. And then 2 years ago, I was just getting into releasing the Ioni. 2 years ago, I was just getting into releasing the Ioni stuff, and that was challenging. And it was quite interesting what happened. And again, I was just trying to do the right thing, and I got myself into trouble. But I really learnt a lot. And one of the things I invite and I instill, I have a lot of mozzies around, so if it's a bit stop-startish, it's like a buffet for them at the moment, right? We've had some really hot weather, and it's very nice to be a bit cooler and stuff. So I was feeling very bratty. I've gone on a bit of a tangent already and stuff, but I was feeling extremely bratty and wanting to annoy the shit out of people. And I was like, how can I freaking annoy people, right? Piss people off. I was thinking a lot of people in the Northern Hemisphere, it's freaking freezing at the moment. I've seen it and stuff, and it was like, I was going to go, geez, it's so nice being cool. It's so nice. And I was thinking, you guys are up in like, in your Homer Simpson cinnamon bun mode, in your blankets and stuff, going, fuck you, Hodge, fuck you, freezing your ass off. Anyway, I just feel some really big stuff has happened the last few weeks, and I really am in the best physical shape, energetic shape. And when I do pranics and audits and stuff, it's really like a next level, what I'm able to clear and stuff, and I can feel it in people and they don't even know it and stuff. And yeah, it's just really a fascinating time for myself. And what I was talking about these last 4 years in particular, of just being in the trenches of the quagmire of this freaking upside down, totally set up for failure, particularly the spirit and alternate communities and the ET sort of stuff. Just, if you really invest in my stuff, just the level of how much nothing is being said, right? Just the levels of, I just find it the lack of will wanting to know, right? And I just feel like the way I am with this is like, if it's freaking fallen back to the Hodge, shit must be back, right? To me, and you might feel this the same, like you might be interacting with people and you know what it is, and you're just passive because you might be a bit meek, and you might not want to, present yourself, and you don't want to challenge a group or a paradigm and stuff like that people accept. And it's just like the people just have no idea. And there's just no will to know. It's like, this concept that you accept, it's absolutely bullshit. But there's no will to flip it to the truth, because that gains something. Whether it's popularity, whether it's acceptance, or whether it's money, or, an industry of all that sort of stuff. Isn't it just fascinating, right? So I just if you embrace a pursuit of truth as one of your threads of all that you are, just own it. It's fucking epic. Pardon my language, I had an uncle, my mum's oldest brother, right? And he was born in 1926. He passed on about 10 years ago. And he was an epic uncle. He was born left-handed, and went to school, and the nuns would whip him to make him right-handed and stuff, so his left brain and all that sort of stuff. But I went and had the privilege of interacting with some Aboriginal elders, the Atnamutna people from Wilpena Pound, Grid Point 44 and stuff, and the elder and the chief that was not the public chief, but the chief that the people wanted, he would call me Uncle Andre at 2013. Like, I had freaking no idea. And the way they all dressed and stuff like that, it was fascinating, because this uncle, he was actually dressed in the same stuff, and I was like, holy shit, my uncle was born into white man, but he should have been an Aboriginal elder, but it's like the Incarnation War and stuff like that. He bred birds like canaries and all that sort of stuff. He grew vegetables that were giant, like he would create, another muzzy down. He would create, the stuff they put on vegetables and plants to grow, what is it? He would create these fertilizers. It was very ingenious, from all the bird stuff and all that sort of stuff, and he would create a massive garden and just be very epic, and he would create woodwork and was very handy and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, he was an epic uncle. I was very fortunate to have him and some of the others and stuff. And this is the funny thing, this is what I was getting to swear. I've been meaning to say it for so long, right? My grandmother's brother, so great uncle, he offered to pay my uncle like 1 cent, and this was in 1930s, like during the 1940s, during the war. It was before the war. It was like probably mid 1930s. It would have been like 10 or something like that. And he would pay him 1 cent if he swore to my grandmother. And can you imagine, like, I don't know, it was such a proper era. You didn't swear. And can you imagine, like, an uncle saying, if you swear to your mum, like my sister, I'll give you 1 cent, right? So my mum's name is Barbara and stuff, and I'd, 10 years old in the 80s, go over to him and go, oh shit, Barb, bloody Jesus, Barb, like just swear all the time. It was funny. So you imagine growing up with that. It's just, I'm instilled with brat from a long time ago, right? So yeah, it's just funny. So when I swear, it's in honor to him. So it's not to be rude and all that sort of stuff, but that's the backstory of it. So I'm going to stick to it, and I'm going to swear a lot. But it's also very powerful to let it rip and stuff, and the extreme nature of things, and fascinating, right? So I just want to really empower you, right? Because I feel very empowered, and just reflect on things, and this last year, the different eras, and 2023, 24 particularly, or 2023, mid 2023, 2024, and 2025 now that's coming to an end. And I'm always optimistic, because, say with what I do, particularly the healing, I've just gone to my city, food shopped and stuff like that. I actually went into the middle of the city to see what it was like. I was looking for something, and there was a lot of people out, and I caught public transport and stuff like that. And I feel really energetically on my game, so much so I'm looking to take on 2026. Like 2026 for me is going to be my freaking year, and I want it to be yours as well, right? Like there's never been a year that's going to be as good for you or me, how it's going to be. But you have to power through and push on in and take it over and own it. Reality, authority, pure source, ally, and all that sort of stuff. I really feel everything is got it all together now, so it's time to go out and let it rip, right? So I was just going around my city, and I do quite regular pranics on myself, like in the morning after I wake up and get into my day, and night and stuff like that, and other times as well, and do it for other people around me and all that sort of stuff. And it's just really, one thing I've observed with society at the moment is that, say for instance air travel, I think like they're setting close to records in different regions, America and all that, of the volume of air travel going on, Australia and all, going to Europe and all that sort of stuff. So that says there's a lot of people in abundance. They've got the resources to travel, and they're doing very well. And you know, people want things, materialism and all that sort of stuff, and it was just, you know, with all that we've worked out and owned and accepted and see, it's so rare, right? And as I said in the last videos and stuff, it's like you might feel a big gap to me versus you and stuff, but it's like we are so far ahead, right? And just accepting and integrating, maintaining your energy levels, energy hygiene and stuff, it's fascinating what goes on, because the level of energy unhygienic sort of stuff going on, it's just out of this world. People just, like, I've got this metaphor, people would spend $1 million on a house and 50 grand on a car, but they wouldn't spend a couple $100 on healing and stuff. It's just, it's fascinating. It's relative, right? It's like you pay for food and, you know, you would, anyway. So what I was getting back to, the level of optimism of the volume out there, people, the absence of awareness of all this stuff. And just if you embrace a little bit and do a little bit, how much clears out the way. You know, people might have chips or things around their head and chips in their third eye, or, you know, a lot of patches, and just imagine like a metal patch over the medulla and drilled into the medulla and stuff. And there's so much that can influence the thought patterns and stuff like that. It's really interesting. There's a new series that's just released the last couple of days called the Copenhagen Test, and it's about spies and stuff like that, and it's all about biohacking and broadcasting EMF signals and stuff like that. It's literally like the hacking of the body, which is the big thing that I've embraced through the last couple of years of discovering Sabrina Wallace and all that, and it's literally there, and that's what's going on. And just the phenomenal mastery of the whole system just running everyone, and they don't even know it. And the thing is, to be able to step out of that and want something different, let alone doing something like this and going this path and choosing to go against that grain, like, you just got to own it, like how freaking epic it is, and how there's just different existences now and parallels and stuff. And, you know, there's that cliche thing in the spirituality of when are people going to wake up and stuff. I don't see it. It's not going to happen unless it's some trauma and all that sort of stuff. It's the same thing is going to go on and on. It's a bit like the disclosure. Oh, disclosure's coming. Do you want to freaking have fracked up incarnation war into like aliens come here? I don't. Like, I'm gonna, like, this is our planet, you know? I dare you to come, you know what I mean? So it's, I really want to let it rip on the ET sort of stuff. If you watched the last video, there was a big clip at the end that I shared, and if you've gone through Jordan Maxwell, Dawn of a New Day, it's just basically a communism rollout, right? So I'm thinking of doing one of them right in the house, right? Challenge all the paradigms people say, but just like, if you embrace this stuff and do your best in healing and stuff, or if you fall back, say to me, and all that sort of stuff, it's just, it hasn't been easy, alright? And it's been pretty gnarly and brutal these last few years. But I felt like I've had this real big breakthrough in the last few weeks, and I put some of the information in that last release, the update part 2, that's very, very rich. It's got about 8 different things that we worked out and stuff. And I feel like one of the big things that contributed to where I am now, that's I'll get into. And so I'm sort of always a bit ahead of the curve, like a bit of like an energy way shower in my state. And it's not that I'm bad or anything, it's just like I'm out there in front and stuff. And I think like the wave of potential is going to come through now, because we've really rocked it, all right? But in that update part 2, I talk couple of things about the banking system. One, we busted the Bank of England and code stealing. As I said about the DNA codes, technology, life force, kundalini, flash, recovery, discovery, abundance tech, tones, elements, elementals, heart tech, and soul charts. They're the sort of things with like a graphic equalizer with all the volumes, like the treble bass and hi-hats and all that sort of stuff. They've all been, it's like when you get an activation and stuff, they all get harvested back and they go back into linking up to the money system, Bank of England and all that sort of stuff. So we worked all that out and busted that, and then from that I got a real big shift in a positive way. And one of the things I do to maintain my body is go to chiropractic. It's one of the things I just can't do myself, and I love falling back to practitioners and getting help. You know, it's just nice to disarm, and this is going on, and you know my body better, so it's like, do it. And I had a really subtle but significant chiropractic appointment after that, and then I came back and did healing, and I was able to get all these overlays from all the different chakras of someone around me that was impacting me on a level just wasn't able to even contemplate. So it was like, say if I do the third eye, there's all these overlays of different people and stuff, and bridge of the nose, and that has all these different overlays and all entities and all that hacking into the spleen and all that sort of stuff. So I was able to clear so much out that was going through a DNA to me sort of thing, and it was like, that's where I got the peace and tranquility state, which is like, it just feels like rings. Imagine you got hula hoops and like waves, like the shit, like something that might try and put you in stress or whatever. It might just come up and it's just like, comes up as a wave and it just gets bounced back and you're just in it. That's a brief description and stuff. So I was able to get to that state, and it was like my body totally disarmed. And one of the things that goes on with people, if they're really like sucked dry like a sponge that's dry, the body can be really armed up and you don't even know it. And to me, the arming up is that the body can't afford to lose any more energy. And then say when I do pranic and get the spleen clear and that, the body just like disarms. And you don't even know it. Like you're in your body and it's like you're a passenger to it. And I've been it, and it's fascinating and stuff. So I got to a new level of that. And then the following week, just observing that and what was going on the levels and stuff, and why I was like being hammered and stuff. And then we tracked back, and it was going all the way back to Babylon, like the money, energy and all that sort of stuff. And the big thing like we worked out is that all the DNA lineage and codes and the combination have all basically been owned since Babylon, the system ever since. And we just freaking gave that a very bad day and busted that, and they don't own that anymore and stuff. And it was like really awesome and stuff like that. But then it was fascinating because what happened, and I know all the variables, and it was many different variables all at once over a few days, and I just got absolutely freaking hammered, like pissed a lot off, and it came back, right? But I, again, like everything chipping away, I worked out something massive. And we talk about, I've got it in the declaration and the full and complete version about the concept of anti-gods. And they're just like you imagine our source, right? And the consciousness source is, if there's a hierarchy, the highest level. And these variables from other universes come, and at the very high level, they insert themselves at that authority level and then percolate through and stuff like that. This would have been early 2024, about January, February. We worked out that there were 3 or 4 big anti-gods, and a particular one was about sabotaging all the good healers, right? So it would go through and just, if you're a good healer and you're aligned to, say, pure source and not the invasion sort of concepts and all that sort of stuff, it would go through and sabotage you and sabotage the clients and stuff like that. We took care of that then from my perspective, but what I discovered was another level of anti-God, right? And it went at me on the Friday night and the Saturday and the Sunday and stuff in different ways. And I rewatched the movie Hellboy from 2004, and I've always had that in the back of the mind. But there's a character that's the evil on Earth, and it's an aspect of Rasputin. And I might be showing clips in this and at the start or during this and stuff, but that Rasputin character, it's like a human body, but inside it, it's like this anti-god, evil frickin' thing. And what they're wanting to do is use Hellboy and his codes and his technology to open up a portal to let these nasty, big, anti-god level beings, right, from another dimension sort of shit, right?
Your true name is inscribed around the locks that hold you. You cannot break them, no matter how strong you are.
The eclipse has begun.
Your true name.
Say it!
Become the key.
For her.
Anum Unrama. Repeat it.
Anum Unrama.
Open the final lock.
Remember who you are!
Believe me, I lived long enough to know. Not a tear will be shed for this world.
You have a choice. Your father gave you that.
No, you don't. Open it. Do it! No. No. What have you done?
I chose.
Child, look what you've done. You've killed me. An insignificant man. But you have brought forth a god.
Myers, let's go.
surprises for us.
I rewatched the movie Hellboy from 2004, and I've always had that in the back of the mind. But there's a character that's the evil on Earth, and it's an aspect of Rasputin. And I might be showing clips in this and at the start or during this and stuff, but that Rasputin character, it's like a human body, but inside it, it's like this anti-god, evil frickin' thing. And what they're wanting to do is use Hellboy and his codes and his technology to open up a portal to let these nasty, big, anti-god level beings, right, from another dimension sort of shit, right? And then they're not like massive anti-gods running at the high level, but just their big scale. It's a good metaphor. So there's a scene that Rasputin guy's got the entity through it and stuff. And what I felt was all these tentacles trying to go in through me, and particularly my left side, like up through my feet, through my side, and just take over the left side and the body and stuff like that. And it was really interesting because I had to go reset everything I did, and I had like a rib put out and shit like that, and I've never had rib issues and stuff like that. So I've had to master the body on another level, but I got what was behind all this and everything and everyone, and it's another being or variable that's just been at play that's fucking with everyone, because we worked out, say, some of the people I've dealt with a bit like they're a metaphor of that being. And so yeah, like peace and tranquility came back at like stuff came back at me very hard, and since then I've chipped away and worked at all this and stuff like that and overcome that sort of thing. And I've been, because of the violation as assets, can sort of go to town with it. So so imagine I went to this peak, I went hit, and then I've gone back and up. So what I'm personally planning to do, so I'll get into that in a bit, but what I'm just saying, this sort of happened a couple of weeks before the solstice, and 3 or 4 weeks now. And what I felt is a level of state that I've never really been in before, because I worked all this stuff out. And I mentioned the rib stuff because I know there's people that have had that sort of stuff. And to me, it's this shit that's coming through and trying to hijack your body and all this sort of stuff. And it's just very, very powerful and sophisticated and masterful and subtle and stuff. And I feel like I've worked that out, all right? Because and I think that's one of the last big predators that we've had to deal with. And I've just been owning it in taking care of it, right? So, and that's where I was like doing this, owning your power into the new era, sort of on the edge of the new year and stuff, and going into 2026 with like pedal to the metal of taking it on and not letting the baggage of these couple of tough years or your whole life or freaking existence for tens of thousands of years and billions of years, just draw a real line, right? And just with everything you do, just watch the baggage trying to come through, right? To influence your state and your process and your choice points and stuff. It's all very subtle. And I know a lot of people have this massive and I don't mean to be tough in that, but there's this massive sort of variable of like insignificant, like I'm such a minuscule thing against all this apparatus and everything's fucking me up sort of shit, and I'm just the victim of it all. You just got to drop that shit, right? You don't know what potentially is affecting you. At least you're aware of it, and you can still power on through because it hasn't freaking taken you out, all right? And if it hasn't, it's probably not going to be able to do it now if it ever would. But I just really want you to like just drop all that, you know, we've got to cater to all the bullshit and people and stuff. Like, fuck that. Just be you, like, own it. Just anchor it. Just carve through the crap. Just be how you are and let people decide. And if people don't like it, fuck them. You know, seriously. Because you get the level of stuff that's going on, and I feel like there's a bit of a window, and who knows how much is going to try and come down on everything and stuff. But that's always going to be a variable there, alright? You can determine how your existence is in spite of it. And like, to me, the ultimate FU is like fucking rocking this world in spite of it, right? So, that's how I'm feeling. And I'm like, to me, fucking 2026 is my year. My fucking year. And I've already, like, I just feel like I can go out there and do shit. So I'm actually planting the seeds of doing something in my city. Like being available in a certain way, where I've been very passive, and I wanted Adelaide, my city, to be my cubby, like my anonymous place sort of thing, and just safety zone. But I feel like I've just got to freaking do everything I can. Like, we have this time, like this peak awareness, precious. What does it take in us as a soul to fucking get to know this shit and be in human form, not be out there like some species, like, oh yeah. Like, fuck off, divest and incarnate here, you fuckers, if you are serious, and get in the trenches and let's see how freaking good you are. Because that's why we're fucking epic. I just like, to me, the shit out there I do not fucking trust, alright? They've all got their agendas, and they're not even who they are. They might have had an incarnation more and they're using their bodies and shit, and like, why do we need guidance from them? Like the guides as well, we worked out, everyone gets like negative spy guides at birth and stuff, and we busted them, but I don't assume that that's all 100%. And why would you follow or take on data from an external source, right? And channeling, it's like, I included the clip of Barbara Marciniak, right? In that last video. It's well worth watching, right? Like, what if you have the unique solution that no one's ever had, but you just don't feel like you're worthy of purveying, like, bringing that concept out? Like, frick that. Like, you may be the answer, right? Like, why do you have to, like, accommodate all the... I might include the clip of Good Will Hunting, Matt Damon. It's...
Most people never get to see how brilliant they can be. They don't find teachers who believe in them. They get convinced they're stupid. I hope you appreciate what he's doing, because I've seen how much he enjoys working with you, not against you.
Hello, Will. Tom, could you get us some coffee?
Sure.
So let's see. This is correct. You see you used McLaurin here.
Yeah, I don't know what to call it, but...
This can't be right. It would be very embarrassing. Did you ever consider...
Pretty sure it's right. Hey, look, can we do this at Sean's office from now on? Because I gotta knock off work to come here, and the commute is killing me.
Yeah, sure. But did you think of the possibility...
That's right. Just take it home with you.
What happened at the McNeil meeting?
I couldn't go. I had a date, so I sent my chief negotiator.
On your own time, you can do whatever you like, Will. But when I set up a meeting with my associates, and you don't show up, it reflects poorly on me.
Well, then don't set up any more meetings.
Well, I won't. I'll cancel them. I'll give you a job myself. I just wanted you to see what was out there.
Hey, look, maybe I don't want to spend the rest of my fucking life sitting around explaining shit to people.
I think you could show me some appreciation.
A little appreciation? Do you know how easy this is for me? Do you have any fucking idea how easy this is? This is a fucking joke. And I'm sorry you can't do this. I really am, because I wouldn't have to fucking sit here and watch you fumble around and fuck it up.
And you'd have more time to sit around and get drunk instead, wouldn't you?
You're right. This is probably a total waste of my time.
Yeah, you're right, Will. I can't do this proof. But you can, and when it comes to that, it's just a handful of people in the world who can tell the difference between you and me. But I'm one of them.
Sorry.
Yeah, so am I. Most days I wish I never met you. Because then I could sleep at night. I didn't have to walk around with the knowledge that there was someone like you out there. I didn't have to watch you throw it all away.
I might include the clip of Good Will Hunting Matt Damon. It's a bit how I feel. Like, I'm just, like, to me, just this is not bragging, but this is me, alright? Do you know if anyone out there has done as much as I've done? They've created a document of 70 pages containing so much in the full, complete Sovereignty Declaration version 5. Do you know anyone that has gone into all the healing modalities and worked out that a lot of them are bullshit and created by the negative forces to derail us? So then go and discover pranic healing, but also evolve it to take it to a whole new level, to put in the pranic, the parasympathetic, and the back of the right hip is where all the ET stuff, so if you're getting messed with in your dream time and all that sort of shit. And then combine it with Sovereignty Declaration that I've written myself through all the experience with everyone and stuff, and all the missions and all the discovery that's gone on, that I've got 5 different versions now: a short one, a brief one, a basic, a full, and the complete. And I'm willing to do, I say my infinite potential sessions, the full one is 6 hours, or the conscious Tetris is 6 hours, but I've had like 15-hour sessions this year, and it's just to be able to hold space for people to help the stuff just bubble up that might be it needs the energy of an extended time to get the aha moment to get through it and stuff. And I will start 11 p.m. and I'll go to 10 a.m. the next morning. Like, I conked out the last one, but when I conk out in some of them, it's like I'm going multi-D and absolutely clubbing all the shit, right? And lucid state and all that sort of stuff. So, and then I'll do a meditation, connect you to earth, and then I'll do soul shard recovery. But I lead you to get it, you to do it yourself, because you're the key to your own journey. So I know no one freaking comes near that, and I eat it up, and it doesn't cost me, because it's just like the energy hygiene clear out and then the sovereignty. It's just so potent, and you don't know what the combination of doing the energy hygiene to do the sovereignty to go on the offense and clear all the stuff out. It might sound very easy, but it's taken 18 years to work all that stuff out, and I know freaking it rocks, right? And not only that, you'll clear out all the shit that's violating everything and everyone else to ideally clear the path for everyone on the multi-D. So, and then offering all the concepts I've done and the spiritual no man's land and all that sort of stuff. And that's why I'm not liked, because I've worked out the mechanics of all the bullshit artists, right? So, yeah, I just, like, to me, like, I'm not here to fucking like make up the numbers. Like, if I've put my ass out here in public and put a target on my back and drawn in all the charlatan bullshit hijackers that I have, right? And lived like very harshly and stuff like that. It's just, everything makes you stronger, right? It's not about me being different to you. It's like, you own your fucking relentlessness as well. Like, stop accommodating the bullshit. Just own it and anchor it and just see how subtlety that changes everything in your existence. Like, most people are just so weak, and most people are just so, they're never gonna like challenge anything. They want to have the most peaceful, easy existence in that box world, right? The Metatron cube world, right?
Fred Gates, one of the Rockefeller associates, in his occasional letter, he said that people yield themselves with perfect docility to our molding hands. And see, we have kind of been told this fact about the control. Not only in popular songs, ads, and movies and literature, or the stuff that they create that also suggests this, but we've been told it openly. I mean, George Orwell's 1984 in Animal Farm. We have B.F. Skinner, the famous behaviorist, who wrote a book called Walden 2. And we have Aldous Huxley in Brave New World and Brave New World Revisited. Another way to look at it, though, is generally my take on it, which I've tried to express in Architects of Control and other work. And that is that, look, you can't continually be talking about tyrannies as if it is a gun to the head, and we're being forced and coerced all the time. Sooner or later, we're going to have to ask us a more deeper question. What is it that the slave is doing to not only bring about his own enslavement, but perhaps to even bring into being the enslavers? Because ultimately, I believe that this master-slave thing is a relationship. It is in our relationships on the intimate domestic level, and it is further up the fractal. And as you know, 9 times out of 10 in the so-called conspiracy or alternative movement, that is not being dealt with. There's a lot of finger pointing, there's a lot of pointing out who the enemy is, and that's very valid and important. We need to do that. But I approach a lot of this stuff from an occult tradition, from a philosophical point of view, never forgetting that there is a relationship here between the parasite and the host. And to, in a couple of lines, just express what we were doing in Architects of Control for those who haven't seen it. Basically, we're asking a question. And that is man accepting tyranny in all its forms, both in intimate life and further up the fractal? Are we accepting that because we'd rather have external tyranny in any form than walk the road of selfhood? Now, I don't know. I say we're exploring it together. Is man so afraid of the burden, the weight of being a self? Is he so apprehensive about walking the Siddhartha road? Or he tries it and finds out, oh, Jesus, that's a bit tough. That he then makes this sort of inner contract with himself to follow the gurus and to follow the leaders and the masters, so that these tyrants, both political and religious, exist. Because you won't find carrion crows and vultures in a Japanese tea garden. If you're finding maggots, the meat is rotten. If you're finding rats, it's a sewer. Like I said, the ego is the ghost that rose out of the self, the grave of the self. So once you start looking into this deeper relationship of what we are doing, our neglect, our avoidance of selfhood, could that be in some way causing the state of decay that we see? Because don't blame the vultures and the carrion crows. They're doing exactly what they need to do. The maggots are doing exactly what they need to do. If something's dead, then don't blame the maggots. So if the psyche is in a state of decay, don't blame the predators for coming by and setting up shop. Jung said it, one of the greatest psychologists who ever lived. He said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to stop from facing their souls. No matter how absurd. And in one of my talks that I did in Los Angeles in 2012, I kind of rephrased this a little bit. I said that people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to stop from doing their shadow work. It's basically the same thing, but it's a little bit little bit different slant on it, shadow work, looking at themselves, all parts of themselves, not just trying to live in a one-seasoned world. The great German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer said it this way: men would sooner die than think. And he's a philosopher, so even his definition of what it means to think is not what we would think it is. There's a great weight in that word, a great meaning. You are the only creatures who can do it. You can think about meaning. Dogs, animals have a very high form of consciousness, but they're not sitting there. The swan on the lake is not saying, oh shit, I'm going to die one day, life's a bitch. Right? It's not in any form of trepidation. It's not in any form of yesterday or tomorrow. It's absolutely in the now. It's absolutely there. And because it is completely present, nature is present in its consciousness. They're one. We have this sort of bittersweet ability to question who we are. Right? We're stuck with it. Maybe we're running away from it, as I said, but even if we don't go there for a minute, we have this ability to think, to reason. It's something very precious and very fragile. And we can abuse it. Or we can turn it off like most of the world has done. But he says that men would sooner die than think. It is very curious that the universality of an opinion should have so much weight with people, as their own experience might tell them that acceptance is entirely thoughtless and merely imitative process. But it tells them nothing of the kind, because they possess no self-knowledge whatsoever. He's speaking about the collectivism again, and we're going to get into that in the second half of today's presentation. I look deeper at that concept. Then I found out that, look, one really can't even deal with psychic dictatorship after all the word psyche means the mind, without really dealing with consciousness. You see how the road, you start with one thing and it leads you into another place? And I love that. That organic, natural, unbigoted, unprejudiced, unpartisan, unbiased flow is what is the magic. More important than even the goal at the end, by the way. You start off trying to bring down Big Brother. Well, my father was a communist. He worked all his life to bring down whoever, the royals or whatever. Did it work? Did he look at one moment? Did he look at his own self? No, he didn't. So the goal is less important than the process, the journey on which we go. That's where the magic is. But as I said, if you're going to talk about psychic dictatorship, you end up studying consciousness, the victim of dictatorship. And of course, philosophers all over the world, in every age, from Confucius in the East to the ones in the West, have always tried to understand this incredible thing we call consciousness. And they've tried to penetrate the mysteries of the mind. However, having said that, there are certain philosophers like Martin Heidegger who would never even use the word consciousness. He was very, very selective about the words that he used, and I don't think ever in his work he ever even used the word consciousness. Although he did use the word thinking, obviously he had to. Because in his mind, people are not conscious. They're not fully conscious yet. And this sort of echoed Hegel. I mean, not that these two philosophers were in any way the same, but it echoes what Hegel was also saying. And what later Sigmund Freud came to also talk about. Is that, you know something? If our social persona, the face we show to the world, is created socially by the approval of everybody else, then it's not an expression of selfhood, it is in fact a social construct. So to talk about one's consciousness is ultimately meaningless. A social persona, right, is not the same thing as consciousness. That's just a bunch of cues and affectations we learn like monkeys in order to get along, in the world with one another. Therefore, it's a social thing. It's that collectivist idea again. And that's why Heidegger was so particular about it. And for those who are actually interested in that particular concept or theory, they can go to my article on michaeltessarian.com called The Disciples of the Mysterium, and we did a really good interview on it on Red Ice as well, for more who want to look into that concept. But Carl Jung spoke of this also. He said that the larger a society or confederacy, the greater the amalgamation of collective factors, which is typical of every large organization. The more aggravated the moral and spiritual degeneration of the individual. So it's an old problem that both philosophers and psychologists have had to deal with. The great teacher, Alan Watts, said that we seldom realize that in our most private thoughts and emotions are not actually our own. For we think in terms of languages and images which we did not invent, but which were given to us by our society. We copy emotional reactions from our parents. Society is our extended mind and body. Now, of course, he's referring to that person who hasn't differentiated yet. And I hope that everyone here understands that that's what you're here for in this world, is to separate yourself from the collective, not immerse yourself in it like the globalists want you to do. As I said, Heidegger, one thing he said that was really beautiful is he said that, look, in German, the word thought, forethought, denken, is very similar to the word for thank you, or gratitude, danke, which you have in this country, tak. They're all from the same root. In Norwegian, you have tanke, right? He's trying to say, are your thoughts acts of gratitude? Wow. Are they? Are we even aware of the miracle? No, we're running into the one-season world. We're looking for the authority to tell us what to believe and what to think. We don't realize the magic is all happening in our heads already. And what of the life of a man whose daily life, whose every thought, every waking moment is actually an act of thanks and gratitude for life itself? Not for what somebody else gives you, not for what other people say, do, and think, but for the simple fact of being alive and never straying from that, never moving from that. Look what we inherit when we're not there. See, you may not want the magic. That's fine. That's your choice. But look what you inherit when you don't. Look at the price that you make humanity pay.
So, once you liberate yourself from needing to be accepted and accommodate all that stuff and needing validation and stuff, it's just, you realize how much of a drag and a tax that was. And it's just, like really interesting, because one of the idealists, like an idealist view is like 1 + 1 = 2, but the reality is 1 + 1 = 5, and it doesn't add up. But that's why the system is so masterful. So an idealist 1 + 1 = 2 view is ideally like you be the example and you operate a certain way and people will see it and stuff, right? Let alone if you're dealing with a scumbag that is dishonorable and trying to cheat you out and screw you over and all this sort of shit, you would ideally think like you operate at a very integral level, that they'll like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to fuck you over sort of shit and cheat you out of shit and harvest your energy and all that sort of crap, you know? You might think that they'll come to you and like be honest and apologize. That's not going to fucking happen. They're going to double down. They've got their agenda and they're just like, I can't see you, what you do, so you can't see me, blah, 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 and they think that they can't be seen. And when you bust them, they're just going to double down and not be honest and all that sort of shit. It's just, the level of integrity has gone down in society, right, on a level. And if you do the right thing and stuff, you can potentially be very vulnerable and be, like, don't guard your generosity. Like I'm very, very generous and stuff, and it's been exploited, and, you know, generous in giving people a go and supporting them in public and all that sort of crap. And I'm never going to like quash or suppress or eliminate my generosity just because there's scumbags out there, right? Being generous and proactive and stuff it just feels good to be in, and it doesn't matter about the outcome, right? It's about doing the right thing. But just one thing I always worked out, and I worked this out 20, 30 years ago, is like, to discern people, you give them what they want early and easy. And you make it easy so it's not an effort. Because greedy people will do the least amount of work to get the most back, right? So if you give them what they want without much effort, you get a lot of truth, right? Like the way they react, they'll think, oh yeah, I don't have to work, so they'll go back and they want and keep taking. But if you're empathic, then you're willing to invest a lot for a little back, right? And I want to do a thing about empathy and greed and stuff like that. But just just realize like this is the mechanics you can employ. Realize that you have and you love being generous, but just do a hypothetical investment of that state of employing it and sense the reaction. You might get this really, you get this like distortion, right? Because you want to be generous, but there's something holding you back. And I would say it's like, it's more likely them, because you're pure and you're clear, of they're not going to honor it, they're not going to recognize it, and they're not going to appreciate it. And the other thing is, greedy people never acknowledge what has ever done. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of agendas at play, and unfortunately that ties into the way society is at the moment. And I said a lot of people are traveling and enjoying life and going outside. You know, the Carl Jung is, he who looks outside dreams, he who looks inside awakens, right? If you heal, you awaken. If you go outside, you dream. And there is a lot of money out there. The volumes are out. It's interesting, precious metals have gone crazy and stuff like that. I was trading silver back in 2011 when it went to $50, and it went down a lot and stuff. So it's just fascinating what's happening with precious metals, and it's an indicator there's a lot of money in the system, and the unit of value is devalued, so the assets go up in a lot of value and stuff. So a lot of people are making a lot of money, having good lives and comfortable, and they don't see the value in doing this, because then they will look at their scumbag shit that they've done, right? And all the things they justify and all that sort of stuff. So for that to happen, the cost of living has gone up. So immigration overloading society, so there's no properties and all that, which is in Australia, the property market's gone up and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of people with vested interests that want all this shit, because at the end of the day they've got a bigger number in their bank account or assets and stuff. Plus the green zero prices going up with energy and electricity and gas and oil and all that. So the energy costs percolate through to everything, and then everything has a fraction where the creation of it costs more, and then everyone needs to earn more so the inflation and prices are going up and stuff. So there's a lot of challenge in society as well. So the extremes are going, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and the cost of living is going up and stuff. So there's all these sort of challenges, and the vast majority aren't doing well. So they want to go well, and they're willing to shit over you. And you know, if you operate in that idealist spiritual view, it can be you can be taken advantage of, and people don't give a shit, you know. Just think about how many times you've been generous in life, and where's the honor in people that recognize what they've done for you or you've done for them, that they reciprocate, right? Like, I'm always testing that, and I'm always generous, and all you guys, like, you are the honorable crew, right? But just like guard that honor, you know, just know that you can do it. It doesn't mean you have to do it, and be okay with not doing it. Let them earn it, sort of thing. And just realize, like, a lot of the qualities, all the people that I've dealt with are I'm just honored and privileged to have the people that come through that are just amazing beings. And it's just like they've gone through just horrendous shit, and it's like that fucking powers me up to do all I do, because I want to create the solution, because the solution is very simple and elegant once you have all the context. And I fucking think I've got it now, right? I'm literally rocking it. And so just like all the teaching, I love doing this. I love putting myself out there like this. I'd been really getting into my music, like music's big, and Tiesto's rocking it. I shared he played at Giza the other day, fucking rocked it. And yeah, like, I'm just like in my music so much at the moment, and just in that flow with things, and I'm finding everything just very easy, and I'm just like chomping at the bit. So I'm gonna, like, really, for me, I'm gonna take on freaking 2026 after all this crap, because you guys, if you've been around for a while, you know how tough it's been, and the recordings I've shared in the background and all that sort of stuff. At some point, we were going to be able to pop up and work all this stuff out. And I think like how it's been these last 3 weeks, it felt like if you imagine you've got rubber bands and you flip them over. So it felt like just leading up to that couple of weeks before the solstice and stuff, it was still rough. But then we flipped it and we went the other side with what I said, and it was a bit tough going through and those things that I said. But it really, really feels to me that I'm in the place where it just, in spite of everything, we've just got this, right? And so the pure source mechanics, the 1000D sort of stuff, and the 10,000 Central Suns and 1000D Dragons, they might seem out there and stuff, but it's just, if we engage our superiority, then everything can percolate through with that authority, right? And so I want to inspire you to discern all this and just sense it out for yourself, and just with this sort of transition time into the new era, inspire you to go on the front foot and take it on as well, and be ambitious. And freaking, like I said, our peak awareness era is such short time. We've all taken so much in this life to get to here, cost so much. You know, like there has been an investment level to engage this on a sort of integrity, pure source path, right? But I feel like, yes, it might be slow where everyone else has gone for the easy way, and I think they're all going to level out. Like it might be like this parallel, but we just go, and I think it's like, it's our time, right? So I just wanted to really touch base with you guys, to really like fire you up and just be ambitious intuitively, spiritually, and existence wise, and just perhaps like shed whatever might be holding you back and your concerns of all how it's been and stuff. Yes, there's all those potentials there, but we've got this, right? We are freaking epic. And I feel like for me as a barometer, it's like, ooh, I'm just like chomping at the bit. So like I said, I'm thinking of doing something, organizing something in my city, which is like a Ghostbusters crossing the stream thing for me. It's like, yeah, I'm freaking up for it. And I'm doing it because it's like, humbly speaking, I'm so freaking on my game, and beyond all this and all the energy hygiene and then the entities and invaders and all that sort of shit, the gap is so massive, but the solution is so easy, that the mechanics that I've worked out with the sessions and stuff like that. So I am incredibly optimistic, and you just know there's billions of people out there that have that potential as well, that they've never even come across it and stuff. And I'm not going to chase them. It's like, I'm on my game, you find me, and we'll go and do what we do, right? And you'll experience it, right? And then once you're on the other side of it, it's like, that's all you ever want, right? It might be tough to maintain and all that sort of stuff, and you're going to have to change and like engage certain things and have a different lifestyle, but evolving is cool. And being clear and like on your game and in an awesome state and feeling amazing in your body. I just, like, I'm in my late 40s now, and a lot of 40s guys are just, their bodies are just going to erode and they're not going to be there and stuff. And it's about quality and quantity of life, right? Peak awareness era and feeling amazing in your body and having all this knowledge and wisdom and the courage to employ things that just are beneficial for existence, right? So let's own it, guys. Let's fucking 2026. Let's rock this shit, right? And leave everyone in the dust. And they won't even be able to tell and stuff like that. And it doesn't matter. It's like, just own how much potential you have in yourself and go for it, right? Let's launch into this and see where we go, right? But yeah, it's a bit longer than what I wanted to say and stuff. I think I covered a lot of the things, and if I didn't, I'll look to do them in the future. And I've got some nasty topics that I want to share and just call shit out. But yeah, I just like one of the funny things, and I've said this to one or two people, but in the future, this is a brat, right? I'm going to patent and start the business McDiabolicals, right? McDiabolicals. Because I think we're just going to go on the hunt for these invaders and just like, we're just going to be so superior and hunt them down and just have all this fucking meat and shit. And so I'm going to create the diabolical burger, right? With all the meat patties of all these invaders. And it's going to be freaking disgusting, right? It's going to be awful. So I'm going to have to create a sauce. And I'm going to call it nasty sauce. So it's going to have lots of nasty sauce with these diabolical burgers of invaders, and there's going to be drive-throughs throughout all the galaxies in the universe and shit like that. Because there's just going to be so many invaders that we're just going to hunt down and we're just going to have to fucking eat, right? And they're going to be horrible. It's going to be fucking disgusting shit. Like, you're going to be dry reaching and shit, but we're going to do it because we're going to love it because it's our universe, and it's just what we do to invaders. And make sure, like, when you do the ratings, you do it like the worst rating ever. This is the worst fucking shit I've ever eaten, and we'll just send all that information back to them at their fucking universe, wherever they are, of how bad they are. But this is what we do to you if you fucking fuck with us, right? We're going to turn a massive conglomerate restaurant chain throughout the universe based on your fucking shit. But that's my attitude. It's like, fuck these fuckers. Like, this is our space. This is our home. You need to fuck off. And yeah. But yeah, I'm just like fired up, and I'm looking forward to things. It's been really, really fucking tough, right? It's been bullshit. And I love rocking up and doing my best and offering the teachings and stuff like that. But I'm very much, I feel like all that investment and all in the trenches and stuff, it's about to spawn roots and shoots of potentials and stuff like we'd never even thought of being possible and stuff. So you guys, you and your dedication to me and commitment and all that sort of stuff, identically, it's like, it's an investment that's going to pay off for you as well. So you might have doubts, you might feel bad, and you might have uncertainties and stuff, but just stay the course, right? Like, don't give up just the contrarian view sort of thing, like it has been that, but let's see where it goes, right? And I hope this inspires you and anything that I've offered, or if you've sought me out. And I also just wanted to thank everyone that came through the last few years and stuff. It's been pretty horrible, and I would not have been able to be here and still without your investment in me and stuff like that. So I really appreciate you for that and trusting me to be able to, just seek someone out. And I've been doing my best. It hasn't always been that great and stuff like that, but again, like, I know if you've seen me in the past, it works in the multi-D and stuff, and now the mechanics that we've sorted out, then ideally that will spawn from you that investment in the past, and this will get you going as well. But so I'm really grateful, and a bit like if you watched the Jordan Last Dance and how the early years were, it was tough and stuff. It's like, let's go for a ring or six, or 6 trillion, I think this is our time, and just all that dedication and investment and challenging yourself and all that, at some point it's going to come good. And I don't want to promise anything, but I feel very good about what's about to unfold. So let's see where it goes, guys. I hope this finds you well. I hope you have an awesome holiday period, Christmas and New Year's, and this really gets you motivated and powering into the new year, right? And let's see where we go, right? But all the best for now. Until next time, the brat from down under, chomping at the bit, ready to go. I'll see you next time, right? Take care. Lots of love. Let's rock it, okay?
He returned to the Vienna. This is Ed Fletcher in Vienna.
Take two, Q Howard.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I want you to get up right now. Get up, go to your windows, open them, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. Things have got to change.
How many stations does this go out?
You've got to get mad.
67.
Say,
I know it goes to Louisville and Atlanta.
I'm not going to take this anymore. Then we'll figure out what to do about the depression and the inflation and the oil crisis. But first, get up out of your chairs, open the window, stick your head out and yell, and say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Who are you talking to, Herb?
CGG Atlanta.
Are they yelling in Atlanta, Herb?
Are they yelling in Atlanta, Ted?
But first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
They're yelling in Baton Rouge.
Get up, get up, get up out of your...
Son of a bitch! We struck the mother load!
Stick your head out of the window, open it, and stick your head out and keep yelling and yell, I'm as mad as hell, I'm not going to take this anymore. Just get up from your chairs right now. Go to the window.
Where are you going? I want to see if anybody's yelling.
Window, open it and stick your head out and yell and keep yelling. I'm mad as hell! How am I going to take this anymore?
I'm mad as hell! I'm not going to take it anymore! I'm mad as hell! I'm not going to take it anymore!
I'm mad as hell! I'm not going to take it anymore!
I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to
take it anymore!
I'm mad as hell!
in December, heading for the city lights. 975, we sharing each other, nearer than farther.
John Lilly once put it this way: there are no limits at all to the human mind whatsoever, except those we impose on ourselves because of our beliefs. And those limits are also beliefs to be transcended. And that's a view that suggests that the possibilities of human transformation are virtually infinite. And we have no way of knowing the outer horizon of what it means to be human.
And really, to understand all this, everything, you have to go very, very deep into a study of history, consciousness, neurophysiology, everything. You have to be the supreme eclectic type of leaning, and you really have to be wanting to know who you are and what everything's about.
And the thing that you'll find when you go to sacred sites, if you're very humble about it, is that you are on a personal journey, and the sacred site will respond to you in a way that is appropriate only to you. The information is always what you are searching for. And it's the intent you give that energy that defines whether it is used for right action or not. And it is inside these sacred spaces that you will be reminded that you are a god, that you are a bright star.
So what you're trying to do is move through the course without ricocheting off walls or creating karma. You're trying to slide through things smoothly. How do you do that? It's called flowing. There's a technique that you can do that will allow you to touch some part of your inner being that has more knowledge than your conscious state does.